Yo, what's up, guys? It is Kyle Beast here, breaking down the Week 2 recap for you. We're going to start with the Falcons, like we do every week. Spoiler alert, the Falcons end up 2-0. I love it. I'm thrilled. I'm so excited. Certainly the most excited I have been for a Falcons season in a very long time. Before we get into the win, I did want to give a shout out to one of my co-workers' daughters. Her name is Rossi. Let me see if you guys can see that. It says Falcons. She made this for me in hopes of a good luck charm starting this week, and I would say it potentially accounted for the win. It was huge. We do play her mom's favorite team next week, the Lions. I'm really hoping the luck hasn't worn off for that game. Huge matchup there. But yeah, let's get into this win. Bijan Robinson looked absolutely incredible. Went 19 for 124 on the ground, 4 for 48 in the air. We finally got Drake London going and involved. 6 for 47 and a tutty. Desmond Ridder looked a lot better throwing the ball, which was really awesome to see. He did have that one interception that he got hit. And then he also had that one throw right to Jair Alexander where he just stayed down Drake London. But, that's going to happen. He's still a young quarterback. A.J. Terrell looks like a top 5 corner in the league. It is so nice to see. When are we going to see a breakout game for Kyle Pitts? I know Hotlanta Nation wants it so badly. I know I want it so badly. I am begging it to happen. I want to tell all of those doubters to go eat crow, and Kyle Pitts is our guy, and he's here to stay. I do want to note, though, that if this does continue for the rest of the season, I think Atlanta may have wasted the best tight end prospect of all time. And it's going to be extremely disappointing for him and extremely disappointing for the NFL world. So that could be a lot to put on the Falcons, especially this early in his career. But if it doesn't get going season 3, I will be extremely disappointed. And I think Atlanta Nation will. But back on track to the game. The Packers had a great game plan to try and shut down our offense. I loved what they had going on. For basically almost the entire game, they were throwing 7 in the box. And then they would put Jair Alexander one-on-one with Drake London and a double team on Kyle Pitts. Really smart. Jair Alexander is one of the best corners in the league. But honestly, Drake London kind of beat him and won the matchup, which was huge for us. We did miss 2 touchdowns in the red zone, though. A lot of mistakes in the secondary. We had so many penalties. Trey Flowers, honestly, kind of looks like a liability out there at corner. I am just praying for Okuda's return this week against his old team. The run defense and pass rush still looks pretty poor. I expect that to go on probably the whole season. But I do love our offensive game plan, which, is obviously just keep hold of the possession, run the ball, and we win the possession game probably every week, and that's a huge part of winning games, so it's good to keep them off the field. But I wouldn't expect our run defense and pass rush to make a huge jump in the next coming weeks. I think this is probably what it's going to look like for most of the season, which is really disappointing and is probably going to lose us games. Packers, Jordan Love and this extremely young team is looking awesome. They are so fun to watch. I was certainly wrong about them. They are way better than I thought they'd be. Luckily, we were able to play them this week without their Hall of Fame left tackle, their starting running back, and their young stud wide receiver. It's going to be really fun to watch them for the rest of the season when they do get those guys back. I actually think they're the second best team in this division, right above the Lions and right below the Vikings. Yes, I know the Vikings are 0-2, but they definitely have the highest ceiling, and if they just didn't turn the ball over, they would be fine. But yeah, I think they have a real shot at winning this division, truthfully, after 2 weeks of seeing them. I mean, look at this young team. They got A.J. Dillon, Jordan Love at quarterback, obviously, Aaron Jones, Jaden Reed, the rookie, Romeo Doubs, Luke Musgrave, the rookie, and then Christian Watson, who's hurt this week, fortunately for us. But just a stud wide receiver and just a stud young group of guys, which is really cool to watch. Falcons end up winning a close thriller. Younghoe Koo kicking the game-winning field goal, and our defense holding Jordan Love for those last 48 seconds. This game was not looking good for us at all until the fourth quarter, and the Packers' offense hit that plateau. They did nothing in that fourth quarter. Definitely a lot of room to grow for both teams. They're a young team. They're going to have a lot of inconsistencies and inconsistent quarters. We're also a young team. Going to be the same for us. I definitely think we probably see a different outcome if the Packers weren't down three of their best players. I think that was a big deal in this game, and it was fortunate for us. And hey, we're 2-0. So I have no complaints. That's the NFL. You win some, you lose some, you have injuries, you don't. Moving on, though, we're going to get into this Ravens-Bengals game. Ravens end up winning this game 27-24. Bengals, this is a huge loss for you guys. Not only did you fall 0-2, but now Joe Burrow has a calf injury and is questionable to play this upcoming week. The offensive consistency and struggles have just continued. They had a few amazing drives that I think reminded everybody, like the usual Bengals, but the consistency isn't there. And now with Joe Burrow being hurt, this could potentially be a huge problem. You cannot fall 0-3 to the Vikings this week. It's huge. Winning games in the NFL is so hard. Going 0-3 would be extremely detrimental, especially in this really tough division that you guys are in. Ravens looked awesome. Only concern I have for them is funnily enough, Lamar. He doesn't look as good. I think anyone who watches him and actually watches the tape understands where I'm coming from, especially Ravens fans. I'm sure if you're watching him every week, you absolutely see why I think he is the issue, or not the issue in Baltimore, but the reason maybe you're not as good as you could be. There is good news. He didn't turn the ball over this week, which is a huge positive. You'll love to see that. He also has a new OC, obviously, so there is hope of it getting better, but it usually does take a year or two to get used to new coordinators and systems. It could get better. I would expect it's a little better, definitely, by week 8, week 10. Unless it's a match made in heaven, it is really hard to get used to these new coordinators. It happens every year to every quarterback, to every team. I love all the weapons that Lamar has. I think they got a bunch of guys. Obviously, they drafted Zay Flowers. They got Nelson Aguilar and OBJ in free agency. And then they had this. They drafted Rashad Bateman a couple years ago as their first overall pick. If he stays healthy, that's awesome. Then they have Devin Duvernay, Isaiah Likely, and then I don't know if I already mentioned Mark Andrews, but obviously Mark Andrews, Lamar's favorite target. So I love what they have here in Baltimore. I think it's gonna be a really good team, and the Ravens defense every year seems to be so good and really scary no matter how injuries pile up for them. It's super funny watching them on their 4-string corner every year, and they end up playing decent and getting the job done. It's funny. I picked the Ravens to lose this game because of their injuries on the offensive line and in the secondary, but no, the corners hold up against one of the best wide receiver tandems in the NFL, and Ravens looked really good as a whole. It was a back-and-forth game with the Ravens leading for most of it and never being down. The Bengals fought hard and didn't go away, but ultimately ended up losing this game 24-27 to the Ravens, and the Bengals do fall 0-2, which is going to be huge for the season. Moving on to this Chiefs-Jags game. The offensive struggles continue for the Chiefs. It looks like they might have a big right tackle problem. They brought in Jawan Taylor from Jacksonville this year to solidify that spot, but he has disappointed. He actually ended up getting benched in this game, which is a big deal. And I mean, hopefully it lights a fire under him and he starts playing better. The wide receivers and the weapons that Mahomes has continue to be a problem. The whole NFL world seems to think this is not a problem and it's okay and the Chiefs are going to be fine. But if the O-line continues to have problems and these receivers keep having a hard time getting separation for Mahomes, while the defense is obviously doubling Kelsey almost every time, that's a major problem, with obviously the goal being to get to a Super Bowl. I think at minimum, Chiefs fans would only really be okay with a AFC Championship game appearance, personally. Jags, they seem to be having some major offensive line issues as well. The Colts last week really got after him, and it seemed like Chris Jones by himself took the Jags offense out of this game. I really like this Jags defense so far, though, and they've looked really good so far throughout the season. Don't let the stats and scores fool you. Their offense has put them in a lot of bad situations this year with a lot of turnovers so far. Only 2 weeks in, but the offense has not helped out the defense so far. Boy, was I wrong about this game being a shootout. I think the entire NFL world was wrong, though, about this, though. Both offensive lines seem to let down their quarterbacks and offenses, and as a result, both defenses shined. Chiefs end up coming out on top 17-9. we're going to get into this Jets and Cowboys game real quick. And then just by the way, if you have liked the video so far, please just go ahead and like and subscribe. I'm coming out with all the Week 3 matchups next week, so stay tuned for that. It takes about, give or take, 5 seconds. Oh, God. Excuse me. Give or take, it takes about 5 seconds to like and subscribe, and it helps me out seriously a ton. So if you've liked it and you want to, please do. Let's jump into that Jets and Cowboys game. All right, Jets at Cowboys. We get a boys dub, 30-10. Cowboys, they're the best team in football right now. That's just plain and simple. They're certainly playing like it. I don't think anyone could have a debate on that so far. The defense is playing at a ridiculous pace and speed that I don't think anyone's seen in a while. Dak and CD look perfect together. Defenses are going to start putting a lot more attention, though, to stopping CD, and fantasy owners, just for you guys, that's going to open a lot of things up for Brandon Cooks when he comes back, so pay attention to that. Probably about week 4, week 5, Brandon Cooks is really going to start coming alive in this offense, I think. Only concern I have so far for this team is this seems to be a Cowboys trend, get hot too early, look amazing, and then end up plateauing somewhere between week 10, 12. We saw it last year. We saw it the week before. And then their offensive line throughout the year tends to not get healthy, so I guess I do have 2 concerns. Those are by far the 2 biggest ones. Jets, super surprised they didn't stick with the run game in this game. I said this would be a test for the Cowboys, and it certainly was not, with Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook only getting 4 carries each. Seems like Nathaniel Hackett felt the game getting away from him, and he did exactly the exact opposite of what you should do. They panicked and gave the green light to a very young quarterback who has struggled tremendously in this league while they were playing against the best defense in football right now. Breece Hall didn't seem happy about it. I don't know if you guys saw his tweet. He tweeted 4 footballs, obviously indicating the 4 carries he got, and then ... Like, what the heck, man? They definitely are. I think they should, and I think they will correct that mistake in the future weeks. I definitely plan on them running the ball much more. I said I thought it was very likely the Cowboys would win this game by 10-plus points, and they certainly didn't disappoint there. They ran away with this game in the second quarter and did not look back, winning 30-10. GG's to the Cowboys. I think they should be by far the most feared team in this league right now. Not by far if the 49ers are right behind them. Let's get into that Dolphins-Patriots game. Recap on this Dolphins-Patriots game. Dolphins end up winning 24-17. Dolphins continue to impress me. I have been very critical of them. Tua looks really good. The system's working and the defense is solid. I still would like to see a little more out of their pass rush, though. I know they ended up with 4 sacks, but it only came on 1 4-man rush, and Mac Jones dropped back 42 times. You'd like to see a little more out of Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips. For those of you who don't know what a 4-man rush is, to put it simply, it is when 4 defensive linemen are trying to sack the quarterback, rather than maybe blitzing and adding 5, 6, or 7 potentially. It's just 4. So it's 4 defensive linemen against 5 offensive linemen trying to sack the quarterback. Just to put it plainly for our inexperienced viewers out there. Patriots seem like an above-average team that won't make the playoffs because of how hard their schedule is. I know Tony Romo seems to disagree. I think he's wrong about this one. The Patriots will still be a tough win for any team. I just feel like they're not quite it. You know, like, especially with Mac Jones as their quarterback. I've never been a fan. I'm not a fan, especially as a winner. You know, he's had chances to go win both of these first 2 games he's played, and he has failed to do so. That's just kind of how I've always felt about him. I love watching their defense, though, especially those 2 safeties and that rookie cornerback. You know, Kyle Duggar and Jabril Peppers at that safety spot. They're awesome to watch. And then Christian Gonzalez, the corner out of Oregon this year. He was an athletic freak. I can't believe he dropped all the way to the Patriots. Looks like they got a steal in him. Obviously, with their pass rush with Matt Judon is really fun to watch, too. So I've been loving this defense from the Patriots. This is a solid football game from both teams with, honestly, a few mistakes here and there, but nothing crazy. Miami seemed to be in control of the whole game until the fourth quarter. The Patriots made a substantial comeback and had a drive to tie the game, but ultimately fell inches short on a lateral to an offensive lineman on 4th down. If you didn't see that, it was really cool. Mike Gesicki got a reception trying to get the 4th down, and as he was getting tackled, he wasn't getting it, so he offloaded to I'm a rugby player, so I say offload. He lateraled to an offensive lineman, and he literally came up inches short to make the game continue to go. And I would have loved to see him get it. I wanted to see more football. But Miami takes home the dub 24-17. I did want to add two games. I know I didn't go over these two games last week or anything, but the 49ers at Rams and Browns at Steelers. 49ers at Rams. 49ers ended up getting that dub 20-3. There's really not a whole lot to say about the Niners other than at this moment, they're the second best team in the league, right behind the Cowboys. 49ers could have won this game by probably a lot more if Brock Purdy didn't miss two wide open touchdowns. So I guess keep an eye on that. Is he going to be leaving points off the board? And who knows? It happens. You miss guys here and there. I don't think it's anything to be too concerned about. The defense, like the Cowboys. God damn, sorry guys, my throat. The defense, like the Cowboys, has been insane and causing loads of havoc for any QB and offense they play. Rams, they're actually good this year. It's actually so cool. I missed big on this one. I did not believe in Stafford and McVay with this roster, and they are making me eat crow right now. And honestly, I love it. I'm happy that they're good. There are always two teams or so that nobody thinks is going to be good and ends up being good, vice versa for good teams. This year, the Rams and Packers are showing out as those teams. I cannot wait to see this offense when Cooper Kupp comes back. The defense lacks a lot of talent, but they're all playing at a high level. One of the reasons I love football so much is that team chemistry can outweigh talent on any given week. Unlike the NBA intangibles, leadership and who you are as a person play a much bigger role than one's tangibles, physical tangibles, like how good of an athlete you are. And I love it. It's one of my favorite things about football, easy. One thing I've been saying about Tom Brady for years is I never thought he was the most talented quarterback, but I always thought he was the greatest quarterback of all time because he was the greatest leader of all time. Every time I've heard, he has just been, from everyone I've heard, he has been just an amazing leader, and how he manages the team, especially having to deal with Belichick for so many years. Huge credit to him. I think that was awesome. 49ers seem to be in control of this game much more than the scoreboard let on, but the Rams certainly didn't take it easy on them, challenged them every quarter, and they even took the lead at one point. Matt Stafford's 2 interceptions were killer and ultimately led to the Rams' loss 30-23. All right, let's move on to the Browns at Steelers. Steelers get the dub 26-22. Browns. This is tough. I certainly seem to be wrong about this Browns team this year. Nick Chubb just got hurt. That's to see that injury on a guy that's so awesome and is so beloved just in the league was super disappointing and sad to see, honestly. Yeah, it sucked. And with him going down, it makes me think I'm really wrong about this team. I thought Deshaun Watson was going to get back to his old self this year, but he has looked like a very different quarterback than his Texan days to start this season. I don't want to kill him for it just yet because his O-line has been pretty bad too, and he had 0 time all day against the Steelers' pass rush. You could tell how frazzled he looked. However, even when he has had time, he's blown reads, blown a lot of open passes, and left a lot of yards on the field, so I'm not giving him a pass for it either. The only positive I have for this team is how awesome their defense has looked. It was a big question going into the season on how healthy are they going to be and how good are they going to be, honestly. And so far, they've been amazing and so fun to watch. I love their new DC. Forgot his name. He's really getting them going, and they look like they're having a blast out there, and they're doing a really good job. Steelers, their offensive woes seem to be a major problem. Kenny Pickett looks like a disaster, quite honestly. He's hard to watch. I know he's looked good at times, and he has had some passes. Obviously, that pass to Pickens a couple of nights ago was really cool, fun to see. But way more bad than good. It's still really early in the season, however, and he has played 2 elite defenses. But without 2 touchdowns from the defense this week, the Steelers would easily be 0-2. The defense is hard to rate because against a superior opponent in the 49ers, they got carved up. But against a decent offense in the Browns, they stole the show and the game. So it looks like Steelers football. They're not super talented on that defensive side, but it's Steelers football, so they're going to have some really good weeks, and they're going to have some weeks, not be so good. Both offenses looked miserable in this entire game. This was definitely a battle of what defense can do more, and the Steelers stole that, and they get the dub with the 2 touchdowns, stealing the game to beat the Browns 26-22. and prevent falling to 0-2. Huge win for the Steelers if they want to make the playoffs, and I think they certainly can with the Bengals' troubles right now. But yeah, please stay tuned to the channel. I'm going to be coming out with a video next week, or tomorrow, on the week 3 matchups that I really like and stuff. So it's going to be awesome, and please check it out. But with that being said, we're going to end the video there, and let me know how you liked it, and let me know if there's anything you think I should do better or anything that you guys would like to see. But I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.